Page 13 in your grammar books, in your grammar book, page 13. We're talking about adjectives today. You already know about those, so this is more of a review. An adjective describes a noun or a pronoun, and an adjective tells which one, what kind, how many, or whose. Oh, I'm not showing you, I'm just telling you. Let me share my screen. How about that? I'm all pointing you to it, like you can see what I'm looking at. Although you're looking at your own, so okay. There we go. That's what you need to memorize to tell what an adjective is in the sentence. You need to remember these questions. Which one, what kind, how many, and whose. It's also in the margin over here. And they also give you a little test where it says the blank pen. So you can try an adjective there to see if it works. Like if you see the adjective big, the big pen, yeah, that works. The blue pen, yeah, that works. If you see a word like chair, the chair pen, okay, well, chair is not an adjective, it's a noun. So that doesn't work there. So this is just a little test. If you get stuck on a word and you're not sure it's an adjective, you can try it in that little sentence, that blank pen. Back over here is your example. Robin crossed the slippery bridge. An adjective usually comes before the word it describes. The adjective slippery describes the bridge. What kind of bridge? A slippery bridge. So that's how you can ask yourself, like, what kind of bridge? So finding the noun a lot of times can help you also find the adjective. Here's one, the bridge appeared slippery. This time it's after the verb. An adjective may follow a linking verb. The linking verb appeared links the subject bridge to the adjective slippery. The adjective slippery describes the bridge. What kind of bridge? A slippery bridge. And then here's a completely different sentence. Robin carried his bow. Because the possessive pronouns my, your, his, her, its, our, their function as adjectives, you will now mark them as adjectives. The pronoun his replaces Robin's and functions as an adjective, whose bow, his bow. So anytime you see, it might look like a pronoun at first, it still is a pronoun, but we're going to label it as an adjective because it's telling whose. So his bow, whose bow, his bow. Find the nouns and pronouns. That's the first step. Find the noun or the pronoun first. And then once you find the noun or the pronoun, ask the adjective questions to identify the adjectives. And those questions are which one, what kind, how many, or whose. And then you're just going to write ADJ on above each adjective. So here's your example. Robin strolled through the quiet woods with his bow. Obviously, quiet is telling about the woods. What kind of woods? They're quiet woods. Whose bow is it? It's his bow. And then the second sentence here, Robin's skill in archery was famous. So whose skill? It was Robin's skill. So that's an adjective. And then it's telling what kind. Well, it's a famous skill. So it's describing an adjective that's describing his skill. What kind of skill? It's a famous skill. All right. Capitalization, that one you already know. Beginning of the sentence, name of a place or a person, any proper noun is capitalized. Any word I by itself is always capitalized. The English flag flew at King Richard's castle. So the proper adjective English, it's coming from the proper noun England. So it's telling the country, but it's an adjective here telling about the flag. Like what kind of flag? It's an English flag, but still that word English is capitalized. The name of a specific country. The proper adjective King Richard's comes from the proper noun King Richard, the name of a specific person. And then at the bottom here, quality adjective, which is coming in your dress up list, but not yet. It's coming. But that's when it dresses up writing because it creates a strong image or feeling. A quality adjective is more specific than a weak adjective. A weak adjective is overused, boring, or vague. Look for quality adjectives in this book and write them on the quality adjective collection page on Appendix 2. Appendix 2 is at the very back. I think we looked at it last week, but let's just look at it again. Way back here. Here it is, page 195. It's a place for you to make a list of quality adjectives if you're coming across, even if it's not in this grammar book, let's say it's a book you're reading and you like an adjective you find, just jot it down here and then you can find it later when you're writing. So a weak adjective would be like nice. If I said, that's a nice rainbow outside. Nice is a good word and it is an adjective, but it's overused. A lot of times we use nice or something simple like that. But if you said colorful rainbow, that is a strong adjective. That's describing, I mean, when you say colorful, you're imagining all the colors of the rainbow outside, and that gives you a little bit more of an image. And that's why we consider that a quality adjective. Do you have any questions about this page? Okay. There's a little more on the back. This is 14. The who, which clause, that's, I think, already on your, or it's coming. I think it's coming on your checklist. Remember that from last year. So a clause does have a verb in it. And these start with who or which. They can also start with whose or whom. Those are two other ways to start a who, which clause. But it's a group of words that describe the noun it follows. It begins with the word who or which, a relative pronoun. So you're going to use who when you're talking about a person and which when you're talking about a thing or a place. And that's what that says. People, personified animals, and pets, which refers to things, animals, and places. The who which clause is dependent. It is a dependent clause, which means it must be added to a sentence that is already complete. And that's why sometimes when we get to the part where we're writing and we're using our checklist and it's on there, sometimes I like to go back and find a sentence to add a who clause because it goes on a sentence that's actually already complete. So here we've got a sentence, Robin eyed the target. This is a fragment. We can't just put who in there. Sometimes students do that. I don't think you do that, Nisai. I don't remember you ever doing that. Robin who eyed the target. That's not a complete sentence. So it needs more. Robin, who eyed the target, picked up his bow. Now that's a complete sentence and you have a who clause. So something to remember when you put a clause in a sentence like that, it does take away the verb. So it needs another verb after the who clause or the which clause, because then it'll be complete. A who which clause contains a subject and a verb. That's true. The subject of most who which clauses is who or which, but sometimes the subject is another word in the clause. A lot of times it's just who though. And place parentheses around the who which clause and write W/W above the word who or which. Write V above each verb and S above each subject. The first example here, Robin thought about the contest, which he hoped to win. So there's your which clause with the W/W, and then hoped is your verb and he is your subject. So in this one, it's not which, it's he actually. The men who worked for the king could not be trusted. This one is coming in the middle of the sentence. So that who is going to be the subject. It's talking about the men, but the subject's inside that clause, and worked is the verb. Okay, so use parentheses to mark those. And then there's comma rules. Notice there's no comma in this one, but there is a comma here. So it does say it's used to separate items in a sentence. Commas are used to separate the who which clause from the rest of the sentence unless the who which clause changes the meaning of the sentence. Then you don't need a comma, like this one here, who worked for the king. So without that who clause, if I just covered it up, it would say the men could not be trusted. But now that we added who worked for the king, that does change the sentence because it's telling who those men are. The men who worked for the king could not be trusted, not just any men or man. It was those specific men who worked for the king. So if it changes the sentence, no commas. If it does not change the sentence, then yes, comma. That's the rule down here. Okay. And it says non-essential. That just means like place commas around a who which clause if it is non-essential. Doesn't change the sentence. Do not place commas around the who which clause if it is essential. It changes the meaning of the sentence. Okay. When you rewrite the passage, copy the commas correctly. Any questions about that page? Nope. Good. Okay. Go ahead. When you're ready, read that sentence on 15.
Robin whistled and thought about the contest, which would be entertaining. He wasn't worried about the other archers.
Nice. Okay. And entertaining is your vocabulary word. How would you explain that? What does entertaining mean?
It entertains you.
It's hard not to use the word entertain when you're explaining it.
It keeps you busy.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Keeps you busy, keeps you amused, maybe.
Yeah.
Good. All right, check that. Articles, go ahead and label those. There's only two. And then how about the nouns?
Robin, contest, and archers.
Good. Nice. That's it. Okay, good job. So it felt like there should be more, but there's only three. How about the pronoun?
He.
Good. Adjectives?
Entertaining.
Yes, that's one.
Other.
Other, yes, good.
And
Yeah, this other one's a little hard to find.
is it?
Oh, go ahead.
Is it wood?
No, not would. It almost looks like a verb though, but it's describing a feeling.
Thought.
It's actually worried.
Worried.
Worried is the adjective. It's so you would ask yourself, because the subject in that, it's weird. Okay, this is a weird one. Subject is he in that sentence. It's referring to Robin. And you're supposed to ask yourself, what kind of Robin? It's a worried
Robin.
That's right. So that's how you know it's an adjective. It's a worried Robin. All right. And then the coordinating conjunction?
And.
Good. And prepositional phrases.
About the other archers?
Yes, that is one.
About the contest.
There you go. Good job. And then the who which clause?
Which would be entertaining.
Nice. Which would be entertaining. W/W. And now let's start with verbs or subjects, however you want to do that. Where are the subject verb pairs?
whistled.
Yep.
Thought.
Yes.
Hmm.
These
Is
are
was.
yes. Yes. Good. Was. And
Would.
these are, go ahead. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
It's fine. Is would one.
Yes. And be. Would be. Those are both going to be linking. That's what I was going to explain is that they're linking the subject which to the adjective entertaining. So would be is linking. And those are all the verbs. So now where are the subjects?
Robin.
Yeah.
He.
Yep.
One more. Um,
It's in the who which clause, the which clause.
which.
Yes, good. That's a weird one, but it's because the whole clause is referring back to the contest. So it is the subject of the clause. And that's it. Good. Capitals.
R and Robin.
Yep.
And H and he.
Yep. Okay, and we have a comma rule here. It means we're either going to take out a comma or put a comma in. So you have to see if you can figure that out. I'll give you a clue if you need it.
Is it the comma and whistle?
Yes, we're going to take it out. Do you know why?
No.
So it's listing two verbs. He whistled and thought. And remember, when you only have two, you don't need a comma. If it was three, if it was like he whistled, thought, and wondered, or some other verb, then you would need a comma. But since there's only two, whistled and thought, no comma there. All right. And then end mark.
Period.
Just a period. And then the apostrophe.
Wasn't.
Yes. Between the N and the T. Awesome. Good job, Messiah.
Yay.
Yay. You did it all by yourself. Nobody's here to help you. So you know the drill. After you write that down later at the bottom, your homework will be 16, 17, and 18. Any questions about grammar today?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so now let's get your other book out. And you're just going to be solo today. That's all right. We can just blast through this. You did the page about Spanish explorers. And I think you retold it, right? Is that what your homework was, to retell that article to somebody at your house?
I don't remember, but if it was, I did not do it.
Oh, it's confession time.
Yeah.
That's all right. Let me look to double check. Yes, I said, yeah, you didn't turn it in.
I forgot to, but I did the homework though.
Okay. I'm glad you did it. Do you know how to turn it in by yourself?
Mark it done. I
Okay.
believe.
Well, make sure to turn it in today. But if you got it, the homework says here, finish the KWO for Spanish Explorers, which sounds like you finished it. And then you have to practice retelling it to yourself, by yourself. And then you retell it to a parent. Remember how you look down? In fact, we'll practice that right now, because that was supposed to be your homework. And then you can mark that off like you did it. Okay. So
Alright.
go to that page 21. And remember how last year we would look down, read the words in our head, and then think of a sentence in our head, and then look up and say the sentence. So go ahead and practice that when you're ready for the whole paragraph.
Following Christopher Columbus, many Spanish explorers wanted to visit the New World.
Nice. I like it. Okay, keep going.
Mm. Most of them wanted fame and fortune, but were not very nice people.
Okay, good.
Mm, mhm. Uh, Ponce de Leon, I believe.
Close. Ponce de Leon.
Ponce de Leon.
There you go.
Ponce de, de Leon
Good. That's good.
wanted to find the Fountain of Youth, but sadly he did not find it, obviously.
Because he's dead. Just kidding. Okay, yeah. I mean, he is, but go ahead.
Mm, mm, mm. Ponce de Leon was, although going to the New World for a very interesting reason, was actually the first Spanishman to go to the mainland of North America.
Okay, good. I like the little background and good. That's good. I like it.
Mm. He landed in Florida and called it Florida because of all the wonderful flowers that blossom there.
Good. Okay.
um, let's see. I abbreviated the majority of all the names. So,
You can peek back. It's all right. Francisco. Do you
Francisco.
ever see that movie Elf? Have you seen the movie Elf before?
Yes.
He's like, that's fun to say.
Francisco.
Go. Anyway, that now you won't forget.
Coron. Corando. Corando?
Coronado.
Coronado.
There you go.
Francisco Coronado was, for some reason, another idiot man trying to look for the seven cities of gold, which he obviously did not find. Uh, although Francisco did not find the cities, he did find the Grand Canyon, which is better than cities.
Right, there you go. Yeah, he discovered. Yes, he did find the Grand Canyon. You're right.
Mhm. Okay. The Spanish were the first ones to settle there, the first Europeans to settle there in Florida, St. Augustine?
Yeah, I think it's Augustine.
Augustine?
There you go. St. Augustine, Florida.
Yay.
Yay. Last one.
Mm. The settlement of St. Augustine was first a small fort and soon to grow into a large city, which is now here today.
Nice. Good job. That was really good. Excellent. All right. So you can mark that as done. You,
Yay.
this is the only time I'm going to allow you to forge my signature on there because I think I had you guys. Wait, did I have that as part of your assignment? Let me check.
Is it?
Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. Oh, nope. You didn't need a signature.
Yeah.
No, no signature. So don't forge my signature. But you did it with me, so that counts. After class, you can
Yeah.
upload that. Now, did we cut out the vocabulary words last week? I'm trying to remember. Did we cut those out from the back of the book yet?
Yes.
And were they the ones for the Spanish explorer? Did we cut out? Because I kind of think we cut out the first set.
We did the Native Americans.
Okay, so go ahead and let's do that next. It's way back. It's the next set. So when you look back here, it'll say lesson 2. You see that on yours?
Lesson.
Way on the back for these cards.
Ah, yes. I
Okay.
see it now.
So go ahead and cut those out. I'm going to start after today. I'm going to start having you do that as part of your homework ahead of time so that it's already cut out for class. So I'm going to make a note of that.
There we go.
Out lesson. Because, oh yeah, and you can tear the page out of your book first. It'll make it easier to cut. Give me a second to cut those out. So while you're cutting, we'll just talk about them. We will always have 4 vocabulary words for each lesson. And the first one is zealously. Zealously. That's a word I've seen in the Bible before, zealous.
Mm.
I don't know if you've seen that one.
No.
No? Okay. And zealous, when you look at the back there, zealously, it says with enthusiastic devotion or diligence. So when somebody's zealous about something, they want to talk about it all the time. They're excited about it. They're going to tell about it. So in the Bible, there were zealots who were excited to talk about God. And so they went around sharing about God and about Jesus and the miracles that he did and all that. So they were zealous because they were excited about something big in their lives, something that they experienced. So that's the definition: with enthusiastic devotion or diligence. Futility is the other one, or no, futilely. Futilely. Let me make sure I'm saying that one right. I have to check. Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. Let me check.
Futilely.
Whoa, that was weird. Futilely. That's,
Futilely.
yeah, I said it right. Boy, that voice was creepy on my phone. Oh, by the way, going back to zealously really quick right here. And this guy is probably a Spanish explorer. He's got the uniform and his sword there, and he's walking past these plants. So he's probably in Florida, I'm gonna guess. And he's excited. He's got a big smile and he's pointing and he's like, let me tell you about the land that I found and look at these flowers. And he's just excited, basically. Futilely, look at this guy. He looks a little more sad. He's got his map and it looks like a goblet of some kind. And he looks disappointed. So what does it say on the back of that? What is the definition of futilely?
Uselessly or unsuccessfully.
Okay, so go ahead and read that sentence there about Ponce de Leon and use the word futilely.
Ponce de Leon searched futile.
You had it futilely.
Futilely
Uh-huh.
for the fountain of youth.
And so sad. And he looks like he's old. So he's like, darn it. I
Ah,
can't find it.
sad.
So sad. And then the other word here, prosperity, that's obvious. There's a bunch of
Gold.
treasures, yeah, gold and treasures. So prosperity, what's the definition of prosperity?
Successful or thriving condition.
Yeah, condition. That just means like prosperity. It just means like you're thriving with money or possessions or something that is making you successful. So prosperity. And this is a picture of a treasure. So it's more like money that makes you prosper.
Money.
And then go ahead and say it in the sentence there, prosperity.
The new land held the promise of prosperity.
Good. So they're discovering America, they're discovering Florida. And that's partly why he's zealous. He's zealously walking through here because he knows, hey, there's flowers, there's plants. It looks like this is going to help us out. We're going to prosper, we're going to make money. Although he's still looking for the gold and the fountain of youth. So it's kind of a mix of emotions. And then the last one is quest. And here he is looking at a map. So what does quest mean?
A pursuit to find or obtain something.
Yeah, so searching for something. So use it in that sentence.
The quest for the fountain of youth led them to discover Florida.
Nice.
They found something better.
Yes, that's right. All right, so keep these cards in front of you. And now I want you to turn to page 23 in your book. Back to 23. And there's a place here to figure out where these vocabulary words go in these sentences. So work on this one. So keep your cards in front of you because there'll be the answers here. So number one, go ahead. I'm down here under vocabulary practice. You're going to fill in the blanks with the vocabulary word that you think fits in there. So go ahead and read number one and then tell me what words you think fit there.
Okay. The explorers were on a to find a quest to find prosperity.
Yes, good. So go ahead and write those in. That's right. To find prosperity or money, or it could be things like the city of gold or the fountain of youth or something prosperous like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, when you're ready.
Ponce de Leon
Good.
searched for a fountain that did not exist.
Wah, wah, wah.
Zealously.
Could be, but since it was a fountain that didn't exist, I mean, you could say zealously, futilely. I think that's what they're recommending for that one. Futilely. Because he did not have success with that. And then it says, which of the vocabulary words from lesson one might work in the following sentences? So from one, that was from last week. Do you remember what those were?
Let's see. One that meant respectfully or respected.
Okay.
Forgot which one that one was. Hostile was one.
It's actually pronounced hostile. I do the same thing. I was
Hostile.
hostile. Yeah. Tomato. I don't know. Either way. Okay.
Caramel.
That's true.
Caramel, caramel, who cares?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's another good one. Did you see the word presumed in your stack there from last week? presumed?
My stack is gone. Give me
Oh,
one.
your stack is gone. Let's just write it in. It's okay. No, you're good. You can just keep those all together. If you
Yeah.
can, we'll keep them all. And I'm thinking it might be best to, do you guys have a hole punch at home, maybe?
Yes.
And then do you have those big rings? You know what I'm talking about, where you can actually put the
I
cards in
could
there?
probably find one. Yeah.
Then that way you can keep them in order. That would probably work better than a Ziploc bag. So you can put like lesson one in front.
Mhm.
And then, because we'll be reviewing those as we go. By the end of the year, you'll have a big stack on a big ring or probably multiple rings. So, yeah. So see if you can get a ring for next week. But the first one is presumed. So that will go in number one. And remember, presumed is kind of like assumed or guessed. You know, the Spanish presumed they would find gold in the New World. But I bet you could figure out the second one. Many Spanish explorers were blank toward the natives.
Hostile.
Yes, hostile.
Hostile.
That's right. Okay. Looking back at your keyword outline, I think it's on the page. Go back a little bit. Page 21. Yeah. And yours is filled out already. Mine's blank because this is my teacher copy, but let's think about one of your vocabulary words, like quest. And then look at your keyword outline. Do you see one of the sentences where you could use the word quest in the sentence?
Number 5, I put the word searched.
Okay, yeah. So how would you do that number 5 with the word quest?
I would probably I put Francisco, then C for his last name. Then I'd probably put Quest.
So, I mean, like, how would you, sorry, I probably should explain that better. How would you use number 5 in a complete sentence using the word quest?
Francisco went on a quest to find the 7 cities of gold.
Perfect. Good. So next to number 5 here in the margin, write quest, because what you're going to do this week is write this paragraph. So I want you to use the word quest in that sentence, and that'll help you remember that if you stick it in the margin there. And then the other word, prosperity, where could you squeeze that word in? Prosperity.
Number 1, they wanted fame and fortune, so prosperity, I guess.
Yeah, that would work. They wanted fame and prosperity. So write it in the margin next to number 1. And then when you go to write the paragraph, you can make sure to include that. And then futilely, that was the one, futilely was the one where he was unsuccessful, right? Is that what futilely means? Remember? Okay. Futilely. So
Number 2, he did
yeah.
not find it, so he was futilely, he sadly did not find it.
How could we say that? Let's see. You've got for number 2, you have Ponce de Leon.
Wanted to find the fountain of youth, but futilely did not.
Okay, let's see. That's close. Futilely did not.
There was number 6 too. Francisco did not find the 7 cities. That one could work too.
Yeah.
Francisco futilely no.
You could say searched futilely. That's the example on the back of the card. The example on the back of the card, Ponce de Leon searched futilely for the fountain of youth, but you could use it for that other sentence too.
Either one works.
Either one. So you could put it, I recommend putting it before the verb searched or tried to find or something like that. So futilely tried to find or futilely searched, something like that. So put it in the margin wherever you want to use that one. And then the fourth one was zealously.
Zealously. I would say number 7, where they established.
Yeah. Zealously established. That'll work because that's an ly adverb. By the way, those are going to be on your checklist too. You only need to underline one of them, but you can either choose futilely or zealously because
Okay.
they're both ly adverbs. So speaking of the checklist, let's turn to that really quick. That's going to be on page 25. Here. And it's nice. You only have one dress up.
Yay.
I know, it's super easy. And you only have one paragraph. So it's like, piece of cake, man. Everything else is the same, except for this looks different right here. It says for structure, it says MLA format. And then it says see Appendix 1, which we're going to look at in a minute. And then the rest of it, though, let me go through the rest of it before we turn to that. So the title is centered. So you're going to give it a new title. Do you remember what the title rule was?
Had to have at least one of the first words from the keyword outline in the sentence. At least one.
Yeah, you're close. It's like, let's write it in so you can remember it. It's 1 to 3 key words from final sentence. I think you said first, but it's from the final sentence. So when you're done with your very last sentence of your paragraph, at least one of those words has to be in the title.
Okay.
Yeah. And then ignore that next box because you're turning it in online, so that doesn't really apply. And then under style, you've got your one dress up, an ly adverb, you've got 2 already that you're probably going to use. So just underline one of those. And the mechanics, those are all the same as they were last time. Capitalization, end mark and punctuation. Complete sentences, does it make sense? And this is the one that, and go ahead and write in that spot, read to someone. So it helps to read it out loud to someone. That way you can tell if it makes sense. Because sometimes when we're writing and our brain is working, we forget little words like the or of. And that way, when you read it out loud, you'd be like, I got to fix that. And correct spelling, just do your best on spelling. You're a pretty good speller, so I don't think you have an issue there. And then vocabulary words, it says label VOC in the left margin or after sentence. So are you wanting to type or do you like to handwrite? What are you doing these days? Good. Okay. I think, how am I going to have you label this? I think that I want you to highlight.
Okay.
Let's put highlight in there. And you can pick whatever color. I know we're going to be highlighting again down the road when you start doing like topic clenchers and stuff like that. But for now, I just want you to highlight whatever vocabulary, where you put the vocabulary words.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's that. Let's look at Appendix 1 about that MLA format, because that's a little bit different than last year. Appendix 1 is way in the back. I'll tell you what page. One. It is page 305. 305.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is a good skill to know for high school because most research papers are in MLA format. And that just is, I can't remember off the top of my head what MLA stands for. I should look that up. I should know. It's something, it's the name of the format. Let me look it up real quick. MLA format. Oops. Meaning, what does it mean? It stands for Modern Language Association.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. Modern Language Association. So that is a style of how you set up your paper. So they give you an example down here, but number one is double spaced. You already know that. You always do that. Entire composition, including the heading and title, set 1-inch margins all the way around. And I will tell you, when you use Google Docs, the margins are already set to 1 inch, so you don't have to change anything. It's already there. So you can just kind of forget about that. And like you did last year, your name goes first, and then it does want you to put the lesson name.
Okay.
So that you will find pretty much anywhere, like even on the checklist, it'll say lesson 2. And on your actual page about the Spanish Explorers, it'll say lesson 2. So you'll just put lesson 2 there. And then the date is here. And the way they write the date is a little different than you normally do. You put the day first, and then the month, and then the year. So go ahead.
European style.
Yeah, it's really different. So European style, is that what you said?
Yeah.
They do everything backwards. They even drive on the wrong side of the road and all that. So today would be the 18th. So it would be 18 September 2024.
Okay.
No commas or anything. And then over here on the side, this is called a header. So it says number 2 at the top here. Only the first page should have the heading in the upper left-hand corner with your name, lesson number, and the date. So there's a function. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick if we have time. Oh yeah, we're good. Let me pull up a Google Doc so you know how to find that. So when you go to Google Docs to start your paper, okay, here we go. I gotta refresh my memory really quick. Oh yeah. You'll do this first. You see where it says insert in your options up here? And then when you scroll down on this, you'll see kind of toward the bottom is headers and footers. Headers and footers is the top and the bottom of your page, basically. So the header is the top of the page, just like your head, footer at the bottom. So you're going to slide over here and click header. And then it's telling you, some instructions. You can just click got it there. Now you see the word header here. And you see your cursor here. But notice on the example on page 305, it wants you to put the header on the other side. So you're going to have to go over here where this shows the alignment. This is like left aligned, centered is here, and then right aligned, that's the one you want to choose. And you'll see when you click on that, it moves the cursor back here. Okay. And this is where, looking at page 305, it's the last name. So this student's name is Kevin Jones. So you would put your last name here. So it would be Keeney and space and then 1. So that's labeling this as page 1. And it's only going to be 1 page. So that's all you got to do is put that there. See if you click out. So then I clicked out of that. I should have showed you how I did that, but let me go back to that. Insert. Go back to header. So we're back here. So in order to, once you get Keeney 1 on there, then you can click down here below this bar and it'll go away. And then you can start here with your name. So you would put Nasiah, Keeney. I know it seems redundant having it on there twice, but this is the format. Okay. And before I go on, I do want to make sure it's double spaced. So this is your little icon here with the up and down arrow. And I'm recording this. If you need to go back and watch this part again, that's okay. The up and down arrow with the lines, you want to click double before you start going too far in your document. Now everything's double spaced already for you. So you can hit enter, and then this is going to be lesson 2, enter, and the date, like I said earlier, would be like this. Oh, I spelled lesson wrong. That's because my S key is sticky and it's bugging me. Oh, see, it doesn't want to go. Okay, there we go. And then enter, and to center your title, and maybe you don't know your title yet. So what you could do is just hit enter twice and leave kind of a space for a title and come back later once you're done with that last sentence and put in your title. So this is where you would start your paragraph using your keyword outline. Do you have any questions about any of that I just explained to you? You're good? Okay. So, like I said, I'm recording this, which is actually probably a good idea. So you can always go back and watch the end of this recording and refresh your memory on that. Going back to page 305, where it shows that format, I'm just going to finish reading those. Number 3 says, if your paper is more than 1 page, every page, including the first, must have a header at the top corner with your last name and page number. So later you will need that. For this week's assignment, it's only 1 page, but eventually you're going to do more than 1 page. And then number 4, the text should be left justified, and that's how it normally is. A 12-point Times New Roman or similar serif font, which I'll show you that in a second. So the font. Paragraphs should be indented 1/2 inch. So whenever you tab on your keyboard, that's all you need to do when you start a paragraph is hit tab and then start typing. And that's already a 1/2 inch in the Google Docs. There should only be 1 space after end punctuation to separate sentences. Your essay should use the format shown below at 3/4 scale. So that's just telling you the scale on that. So let me show you one more time on Google Docs. And we're going to look at the font. So right now it's in Arial. You see that word here, that's the font. Are you familiar with fonts a little bit? Kind of, sort of. Okay. So when you see this, when you're playing with this later on your Google Docs, all of those things at the top, those are your tools. There's a lot. I'm just giving you a real basic introduction to these things, but you'll see on this bar right here, this blue bar, all these little symbols and tools and stuff. But if you keep going, you're going to see this word Arial. I think that's the default for Google Docs. So when you click on Arial, it opens up all the other fonts. Now, I have some students who like to go crazy on the font, but I don't want crazy. I only want this one. You see where it's at right here, Times New Roman. It's the basic generic font, and it's part of that MLA format. Okay, so when you click on New Times Roman, it'll change the font, but I forgot to do that at the beginning because really all of this should already be in New Times Roman. So what you can do if you forget to is highlight it, go back here to the font, go down and select New Times Roman, and now it'll automatically change the font. You see how that is a little different? The other thing about MLA is that it has to be 12 points as far as the size of the font. Next to where we clicked New Times Roman is a number here, and it's right now it's set on 11. When you click on that, you can change it to 12. That should be a 12. According to this page on page 305 in your book about the format, it should be Times New Roman, size 12 font. Now you also want to change, oh, I wanted to show you that too, this, because this is the Arial still up here. When you want to go back and change that, you can put your cursor up here and double click, and it opens up the header for you. Highlight it, change it to New Times Roman. Now it's up at the top because it's under recent. Change it to 12. Click out of it, and boom, there you go. Notice it went back, it defaulted back to Arial. So you want to make sure before you start typing your paragraph that it's in New Times Roman. Tab for your indent, and then you start typing. Do you have any questions? I know that was a lot I just gave you. You have any questions? No, you're good? Yay. Awesome. So that's the new format this year for this particular class, for the history class. And like I said, you can go back and watch this recording, or you can go to page 305 to help you remember how to set that up for every page. So your homework is going to be to write that paragraph using your keyword outline, using the ly adverbs, and then highlighting the vocabulary words that you used in there. And then your 3 grammar pages. So do you have any questions about homework? You're good? Awesome. We did it. It's right on the button, right on 12:30. All right, Nasaya, have a good week. I'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.